It's time for the lightning round with Brad Butt. Brad, are you all set to go?
Yep, let's go.
The second dose of vaccines, it's a key to step 2. How many people do we need to get vaccinated before we can move into that phase 2?
Well, they want at least 20% of people having 2 doses, and particularly in regions like Peel, where there's still quite a bit of concern over the Delta variant. So when we get to that, we should be able to move into step 2, and I predict that'll be right after Canada Day.
Brad, people keep asking, is there any chance we can move in faster? What are you hearing?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a possibility. I mean, the government has still said that they want 21 days between steps before they move from step 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. Hopefully we can get it faster.
Many people are concerned over the protocols for the vaccines, and many business owners are asking, "Can I force my employees to have a vaccination?" What are you hearing?
Yeah, this is becoming a real cause of concern with businesses that I have been speaking to, and them looking for advice and guidance on this, because there is a concern that there are going to be employees that will not get vaccinated for various reasons. And what will that impact be on the workplace, particularly in congregate settings? So we're hoping to get some better legal advice and some better advice from the government going forward, but this is going to be a problem for some time to come.
Brad, the Ford government uses a notwithstanding clause to do something very irregular, especially after a government, or sorry, a court judge ruled against them. What did they do?
Well, you know, the notwithstanding clause is something that was put in the Constitution Act in 1982. Other provinces and territories have used it in the past. It's never been used in its history in the province of Ontario until now. And what the Ford government did, they invoked that clause to keep an election financing bill that they had put forward, which a judge threw out to allow it to be reinstated. And they passed it on the weekend with their majority government. First time the notwithstanding clause has ever been used in Ontario.
Disappointment at City Council as well on cannabis stores. Looks like we're going to have to continue to go outside of the borders for our weed.
Listen, it was a bit of a bizarre debate, in my opinion. I mean, I thought that the concern over cannabis, now that it's been legal in this country for 3 years, was over. It certainly didn't sound like that in a lot of the debate that went on at council. So council's reiterated its position that it will not permit cannabis retail stores in Mississauga. That is a real shame for small business. It's a real shame for customers that want to purchase that product. But here we are again.
The G7 leaders were meeting over the last several days. Minimum corporate tax came up, which is something that a lot of companies have been looking for. What were the results?
Well, this was through the G7 finance ministers, and then it was reiterated by the G7 leaders when they met in England this past week. And the leaders of the major countries of the world have agreed to a minimum corporate tax so that businesses can't shift profit into a lower tax regime than another. This has been quite common in the past. So the leaders have agreed. We'll have to see what implementing legislation looks like in all those countries, but they've agreed to a 15% minimum corporate tax worldwide.
Well, as I recall, the countries that have the best tax havens aren't part of the G7. So we'll see how they do.
Yeah, the Cayman Islands would be one.
Georgia, all of those places. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll see.
And good news for exporters and importers and people just wanting to travel back and forth to the U.S. The border campaign is open. When can we start traveling back and forth?
Well, yes, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and many other national business associations, the Tourism Industry Association of Canada, as an example, and others joined together to ask the federal government to reopen the Canada-US border as quickly as possible. Every month on the 21st of the month, that closure gets renewed. So I think there's a few people with fingers crossed that June 21st could be the day that we finally reopen the Canada-US border.
That's it for the lightning round. Brad, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, David.